when people come under psychic attacks, they assume that what they need to do is put up a defense and do rituals and ceremonies and candles and all these things to heal themselves of whatever they're dealing with. But what people don't realize is that the more you do these things, the more you focus on negatively on what you're going through with the psychic attack, no matter what it is, um, whether it's a illness or it's a relationship issue, finances, whatever. Psychic attack, could attack any part of your life. So what people do, they do ceremonies, they do rituals to try to heal themselves, and they do this really wrong thing of trying to reverse what was done with a reversal ceremony. But like I was just trying to say, that whenever you're trying to do those things, you're too focused negatively on what is going on with you. And so in trying to protect yourself, in trying to reverse what was done, you end up, because you're so negatively focused on it, attracting more of that negative energy and heightening the negative effects of this psychic attack. Now, people need to understand that the psychic attack does not start with a psychic attack. It starts with trauma and whatever emotional state that you're in, and whatever emotional state you are generally in. Okay, because we all have a general kind of emotional state that we're in most times, and sometimes the negative side of that gets more, sometimes less. Sometimes we feel good, not some, but generally we have a kind of a stable emotional state. And if your stable emotional state is mostly negative, you could attract psychic attacks, okay? And people who want to hurt you with psychic attacks. Now, because it's stemming from trauma, the trauma itself was the first imprint that caused you to be in a state where you will attract negative things to you. Okay, so if you're in a most negative state, or like I said, your general emotional state is, you had, I mean, we all have trauma, but if you have a certain kind of traumas and you attract somebody who wants to hurt you with psychic attack, what they do is they send negative things to you for whatever part of your life they want to destroy. And whatever trauma you have inside of you, it tend to heighten the the effect of a trauma. So don't assume that whenever you're experiencing psychic attacks, that this thing that's going on with me came out of nowhere. The only reason why it's like, let's say somebody send a psychic attack towards you to drive you crazy, cause you to become psychotic. What they all they have to do is do whatever ceremony they have, and because we all have trauma, that negative energy that they're sending towards you is going to be like a plug. Okay, it's related to the same trauma, and so it plugs itself into that trauma aspect of your energy field, and it heightens the effect of a trauma. So if somebody is trying to hurt you, to hurt your mental state, whatever trauma you have inside of you, let's say you've always had a small fear of being around people, which is a form of maybe shyness. But what shyness is social anxiety, really. And so you didn't really have severe social anxiety before, but you have that shyness, right? So all they have to do is set the intention for you to go crazy. And when they send out that intention, the demonic negative energy works like a plug and plug itself into that original trauma that you had that was causing a kind of a shyness. Now that shyness is now heightened to severe social anxiety, to the point where you can't be around people at all. And what is that going to cause? It's going to cause mental illness in so many ways, because if you can't be around people, you're going to be dealing with loneliness, and you can't really relate to people, so you're going to start talking to yourself. Because the reason why people talk to themselves is because they can't get to talk to other people, and other people won't understand them, so they keep everything inside, and then there's one side of their consciousness that becomes the listener, and one side of the consciousness is the talker, and so they have this inner dialogue that's going on. So this is what psychic attack is. And so because that original shyness, the trauma that was causing the shyness, for whatever trauma that may be, it could be a trauma where a parent or somebody in your childhood shut you down. And I don't want to go too deep into the trauma aspect of it. And it caused you to be shy and believe that you can't express yourself because you were shut down. And it caused a shyness, but the shyness wasn't severe. But you went through your life being shy to an extent, being shy, and which is a form of social anxiety, but you weren't in a severe case where we call it severe social anxiety that leads to mental illness, where you talk to yourself and can't function mentally, and so many other different layers of kind of a mental illness that one thing could cause, right? So the the shyness is now amplified, okay, by a million. And so now you can't function, and now you're going crazy because that demonic energy, negative energy, has plugged itself in that original shyness trauma. So now it gets to heighten, and now whatever negative thoughts that they intended for you, or that the demonic forces intended for you, or wants, it's trying to carry out a task. And so the demonic forces are trying to carry out the task, and they're doing what they're supposed to do, because it serves them to plug into your energy, and it serves the psychic attacker, whoever is attacking you, for them to do what they're doing, because they want to destroy you. You see, they want to drive you crazy because they are in deep pain themselves, and they don't know how to deal with their own pain, and they look out in the world, and they can't deal with the fact that other people are doing better than them, and so they're jealous and they're bitter, and they feel threatened by you, they're afraid of your success, they're afraid of whatever, and so they send that negative energy towards you. So what I'm trying to say is, what we need to do, instead of doing these ceremonies and doing these rituals and the candles and stuff, that stuff is good too, but it's best to keep it as a side thing, an extra thing to do to make you feel more confident that you will be better. And that's why it works. So what you have to do is go straight to the trauma. Go straight to the trauma itself. Okay? Raise your vibration itself. Raise your vibration by doing things to raise your vibration, like meditate and pray and whatever things that works for you as far as raising your vibration. And also go straight into the trauma. Go straight into the psychological aspects of it, the trauma aspect of it, the emotional aspect of it. Work on the negative emotion itself, that original trauma that was causing the shyness. That's where you need to go back into your childhood, find out what you need to do to release that original imprint, that original trauma. And once you pull out that root, it's going to be harder for them to send any related kind of a psychic attack towards you. You understand? So this is what I do. I do trauma work from my own expertise, dealing with my own traumas, healing myself, and I'm in a place where now I help people to heal themselves from psychic attacks. So I specialize in going into the subconscious, going into the childhood trauma aspect of it, by using different non-suppressive emotional release techniques to get you to where you need to be. Okay, to release these negative energies, to release the negative emotional imprint trauma, so you could release the trauma and the psychic attack. Because it's almost like, if you have, it's like grass growing out of the earth. When you cut the grass, that's what the ceremonies do. When you light candles and do all these things with incense and stuff, it's just like it's like a lawnmower cutting the grass. The original root the root itself of the grass into the earth is going to cause it to grow back. And that what I'm trying to say is the original trauma that was there was not released, and so you are still in a state of potentially attracting more people to do the same kind of a psychic attack to you, and the same kind of attack, attracting the same kind of attack towards yourself. And the more psychic attacks you attract, the more psychic attack you attract, because like attract like. So the more if somebody was trying to drive you crazy, you go into that state where you amplify that trauma because of the psychic attack itself, and because of the trauma has been amplified itself, and so your energy field is now a magnet for more people to attack you that way, for more people to attack you with psychic attacks, for more people to attack you mentally. So go straight into the trauma itself. And this is what I do from my website, and this is what I do in general. So thank you for tuning in, and I urge you to do the correct and effective thing as far as your psychic attack. Forget about what the psychic tells you, and the spiritualist tells you, and the people in a certain kind of church tell you. They're just gonna take your money and just give you the lawnmower technique, the lawnmower method of just um, removing the surface layer of this psychic attack itself. They don't know how to go deeper, to go to the trauma level, to plug it all the way out. And that's what we need to do, and that's what I do. And I hope you choose me as your intuitive, and as your guide, and as your healer when it comes to going into trauma, and when it comes to dealing with psychic attacks. Thank you, and you have a great life.